Samsung is likely to debut the Z Fold 7 this summer with the Galaxy Z Flip 7, and we're now getting a clearer sense of what type of specifications it'll have on board. Leaker Tarun Vats provided a Geekbench test screenshot on X that outlines how the Z Fold 7, marked as SM966U, fared, and we get a glance at 3 specifications that'll drive a bulk of the experience. According to the benchmark, the Z Fold 7 will be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite CPU. The processor is marked as Sun on the test, which is the codename Qualcomm gave it in development. This implies it'll have the same performance as phones like the OnePlus 13 and Samsung's own S25. However, it could be a touch slower than the Galaxy S25 Ultra. That phone comes with 16 gigs of RAM, but according to this Geekbench leak, the Galaxy Z Fold 7 will only come with 12 gigs. There might be a model of the Fold 7 that receives an update in RAM, but as of right now, it looks like it'll remain with 12 gigs. Full disclosure, there is plenty of RAM for any user except the most power-hungry, so you'll likely be okay. The test also indicates the Z Fold 7 is powered by One UI 8, which is based on Android 16. Google is delivering the next version of Android by the end of June as part of its new Hasten plan, so it seems reasonable that Samsung's next foldables would have the upgraded software out of the box. Galaxy Z Fold 7 US edition has emerged on Geekbench using the Snapdragon 8 Elite processor. The phone was running the Android 16-based One UI 8 operating system. It's the second time we are receiving confirmation on chip and OS. On Geekbench 6.4, Samsung's SM966U achieved 3022 single-core score and 9307 multi-core score. Since the gadget is still under development, there's a chance for additional improvement in both single-core and multi-core scores by July. The listing also indicated that the upcoming Samsung Foldable won't lose out on the most powerful Snapdragon CPU. The gadget will contain the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy with an 8-core CPU, boasting a max frequency of 4.47 GHz. Samsung will introduce the new OS in H2 itself, rather than rolling out beta in Q3 and stable deployment in Q4. The move corresponds with Google's aim to hasten the development of Android, so OEMs may launch their new devices with the newest OS version. This entry pertains to a US carrier model, although the international form is extremely likely to have the same features. Samsung is investigating the Exynos processor for the future flip phones, but there's minimal likelihood of Exynos on the Fold model. Samsung is anticipated to debut the Z Flip 7 and Z Fold 7 around July this year. An inexpensive flip variant may possibly be offered together with the two gadgets. Previous speculations say the Z Fold 7 will come with bigger screens than the Z Fold 6. This comprises a 6.5-inch cover screen and an 8-inch foldable screen. The design will likely stay similar to the Fold 6, suggesting that Samsung won't be able to compete with the design of the Oppo Find N5, one of the hottest foldable on the market today. We've also heard the aspect ratios would be close to the Fold 6, giving the future Pixel 10 Pro Fold an advantage. Samsung is anticipated to reveal the Z Fold 7 in July, as it did the Fold 6 last year. Stay tuned for further information as they're likely to develop over the coming weeks. So as for the design, it hasn't been verified yet, although there are some computer-generated images going around. Leaker on Leaks developed the renderings, and it tells us a few things about how the smartphone would feel compared to last year's model. For begin, the measurements are 158.4 by 143.1 by 4.5 mm. Based on the specifications of the Z Fold 6, it would make the Z Fold 7 1.1 mm thinner when unfolded, and the outside screen would be 11 mm broader than the Z Fold 6. Additionally, 3 cameras decorate the rear, located in an island similar to the Z Fold 6. The specifications are still mainly a mystery, although we can extrapolate a little bit from context here. In 2024, the Fold 6 had the same processor as the Galaxy S25 Ultra, so it would make sense if the Fold 7 had the same power under the hood as the Galaxy S25 Ultra. There aren't any reports to imply this, but unless Samsung goes with a Dimensity processor like its recent tablets or returns to Exynos, the Fold 7 will very definitely contain the same Snapdragon 8 for Galaxy CPU as the S25 Ultra. Moving around to the rear of the handset, Many publications have indicated that Samsung won't be increasing the battery size for 2025. The Fold 7 should arrive with the same 4,400 mAh battery as the Fold 6, with no discernible improvement in charging speed claimed among the leakers. The S Pen is said to be different for the Fold 7 compared to recent years. Currently, Samsung employs a digitizer to interact with the S Pen. Rumors from ET News say that Samsung will do away with the strategy and instead employ something new. This aligns with the notion of a slimmer Fold, as eliminating the digitizer would let Samsung to accomplish exactly that. The elimination of the digitizer would enable Samsung to lower the thickness by up to 0.6 mm. S Pen aficionados may rest, however, since the pen will still operate with the Fold 7. Samsung may simply wind up utilizing something similar to the Apple Pencil, where the S Pen itself would be conveying signals to the tablet, instead of having a built-in digitizer to accomplish so. There is no news as to whether the Fold 7's S Pen would lose Bluetooth capabilities like the one on the Galaxy S25 Ultra, but if Samsung does really go with something like the Apple Pencil, Bluetooth connection should still be intact. Speaking of the camera, it also is slated to see some major advancements from last year's Fold. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 is rumored to have the 200 megapixels primary camera that arrived on the S25 Ultra and the Z Fold Special Edition, which was limited to Korea and China last year. This would be a huge boost in resolution over the 50 megapixels camera on the Galaxy Z Fold 6. Reports also say that the Z Fold 7 will receive a new under-display camera, which will be positioned beneath the internal screen. The specs of the under-display camera are unclear, although it is likely to be better than the 4 megapixels camera on the Galaxy Z Fold 6. The Z Fold 7 will eventually contain the same camera array as was in the Z Fold 6 Special Edition, which features a 12 megapixels ultra-wide camera and a 10 megapixels telephoto camera in addition to the others. It'll probably definitely be disclosed in July. This is a pattern for Samsung. It unveiled last year's Galaxy Z Fold 6 in July 2024, and the Z Fold 5 in July 2023. Additionally, when providing material about bone conduction headphones that may possibly be introduced during the event, known leaker Ice Universe indicated that the event will be held in July once again. On the opposite side, the Z Flip 7 will presumably come in July, and when it does, you'll likely have quite a few colors to pick from, since Samsung's Z Flip phones are normally marketed in a broad selection of tints. Exactly what colors will be provided this year is unknown, but via a mix of leaks and Samsung's prior practice, we have at least some notion of what to anticipate. Below then, you'll discover the colors that we believe are most likely to be featured on the Samsung Z Flip 7. Blue. The only conceivable Samsung Z Flip 7 color that we've really seen so far is blue, with the hue that you can see above having featured in leaked images. It's a pastel blue that looks very close to a blue tone you can currently acquire the Samsung Z Flip 6 inches. We take this with a grain of salt, as it's not obvious if the source of the renderings has heard there will be a blue shade or is merely utilizing an existing shade for the renders. But either way, we believe blue is a probable hue, considering it's one Samsung has regularly gone to with the Galaxy Z Flip range. Coral red. Coral red is a color we've heard discussed as a potential shade for the Samsung Z Flip 7, and although we haven't seen photographs of it in this color, there is a coral red variant of the Samsung S25, which you can see. This is a delicate, pinkish red that would probably match the Z Flip 7 perfectly, as Samsung loves to sell Z Flips in pretty vivid tones. This would, however, be a color we haven't seen available previously on a Z Flip phone, so we'd still take this with a grain of salt. Yellow. So far, only the hues above have truly been suggested, but we feel there's a high possibility Samsung will offer the Z Flip 7 in yellow, considering there have been yellow versions of the prior several iterations. You can see the Samsung Z Flip 6 in yellow above, so we could see something similar to that. However, it's likely a different shade of yellow will be provided instead, or that Samsung will give yellow a rest. Gray. Some version of silver or gray is also likely to be offered, because the Samsung Z Flip 6 is sold in silver shadow, which is a silvery gray. The Z Flip 5 in gray, the Z Flip 4 in graphite, which is approaching black but still with a gray edge, the Z Flip 3 in gray, and the Z Flip 5G in mystic gray. So, Samsung definitely has a thing with gray when it comes to the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip range, and there's no reason to assume it will give up on grey this year. White/cream. Samsung normally provides either a white or cream tint for its phones, or in some instances, both. So while we haven't heard of a white or cream Z Flip 7, this shade looks like a safe possibility. So either a white or a near white cream color is extremely possible for the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 7, particularly given even outside the Z Flip series, white is a very prevalent and popular smartphone color option. While we will certainly see some or possibly even all of the tones above, there's a great possibility the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 7 will be marketed in additional tints too. After all, the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6 is available in 7 distinct hues. What the other hues may be is unknown, but other colors Samsung has used in previous years include black, mint, peach, lavender, and green, so we might see one or more of them, or Samsung might show us something new. Note, however, that some of the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 7 colors will almost definitely be limited to Samsung's online shop, since that's the company's customary approach. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting tech news and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.